Welcome to Indigenous Earth, where we explore indigenous wisdom to help you protect and connect to our planet. From the Paitavdira tribe of Paraguay, I'm your host, Frank Oscar Weaver. Imagine a place where your family has lived in and prayed it for thousands of years. Now imagine someone comes in and they say they want to destroy it, and they only give you 7 days for you to say why they shouldn't. That's pretty crazy, right? But that's what is happening in the Chaco Canyon. My guest today is Sumaya Quitugua from the Acoma Pueblo, also known as the Sky City, one of the sharpest young voices out there on protecting sacred land. We get into what makes a place sacred and the fight to keep Chaco from being mined.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sumaya Quitugua. I am 20 years old. I am from the Acoma Pueblo tribe in New Mexico and Chamorro from Guam. Most recently, I worked for my tribal government, and I currently actually work for USGS as a biotech.
That's incredible. And I'm so happy to be talking to you. You were one of the incredible Earth ambassadors, and your workshops were always so engaging. And so I'm really excited to have you here. You say that you are in New Mexico now. For those that are listening around the world, can you describe what it looks like in that area that you grew up?
Yeah, so I'm from the Acoma Pueblo tribe, and that is in between Grants, New Mexico, and Albuquerque, the main city. As stereotypical as Southwest can get, the hot, humid with the mesas, that's who we are. Acoma, we are one of the oldest tribes out there in New Mexico, and Acoma is home to hardworking farmers, cattle people. We may not be known for our sunrises and sunsets, but they are, gosh, so dang beautiful. It's the dry lands with high mesas. Acoma is home to the Sky City, which means our traditional homes are on top of a mesa, and we make them in traditional style with adobe. And that's how we live with our culture, resources, and ancestors is bringing that tradition alive. We're known
That's
for our hot, chili taste, but also for our laughter.
That is beautiful. And I've been to that area before in Albuquerque, and we went to up this mountain to see the sunrise. And it was such
Mhm.
a great experience and just a sense of peace up in that area. So I'm so happy that you're able to share with us about this place that you grew up with. And when you got involved with the environmental work, was that something that came because of somebody in your family? How did you get involved with that?
Yeah, my baba, my grandfather, he was a farmer, and he was one of our governors in the past. And through his teachings, he's always taught us kids, us grandkids, to always honor the land, water, and in our traditional ways, when we pray, because we use a cornmeal, when we pray, the first thing we always pray is to the sun, the environment, the land, the water, the air, the animals. And then you pray for the people. And that's just the way that my mom has always implemented into me growing up is always pray for others, always give a voice to others. And I've on my island side too, that's how it is we speak up for those who don't seem to have a voice, and that tends to be our environment. We're caretakers, we're stewards of the land. And one thing that I've always learned is the fact that we don't own land, we don't own water. We are protectors of it. And I just always implemented that into my life and I guess into my career.
That's incredible. And you mentioned these places that you pray for that are part of your culture and part of your day to day life. And some of these places are considered sacred. Could you tell us what makes a place sacred?
When we describe sacred places or um, activities that we do, it's what the people do. It's who we honor and how we practice. It makes it sacred based on a feeling, how we feel when we pray, how we feel when we dance, depending on what we're doing. It's sacred because it's the one time when we're the absolute most connected to our ancestors in our traditional ways of life through time and continuance.
That is beautiful. And you are near the Chaco Canyon, correct?
Yes, Chaco Canyon is northwest of us.
Can you tell us a little bit about the history of Chaco Canyon?
Yeah, depending on who you talk to, the stories may change, but at the end of the day, the statement of fact stays, and that is that we are of the Chaco Canyon. It's a ground where traders and people have met through history to come together. There's stories of Acoma being closely connected to Chaco Canyon, and it's a sacred site to us amongst other pueblos and even Dene and Hopi people.
Yeah, it seems to be a place that is connected to so many cultures and has a deep history of astronomy, of trading. And recently, I've been seeing a lot of things on the news going on with Chaco Canyon. And I even saw some of your posts on Instagrams that you're speaking for Chaco Canyon. Can you tell me what's going on?
Yeah, so Chaco Cane is actually it's being fought for uranium mining. Uh, we should get into the history of Chaco Canyon, and that's the fact that, yes, Chaco Canyon's located to the northwest side of New Mexico, but it's also home to a dozen of great houses. And great houses are these stone structures made from the traditional environment and its ancestral architecture. These are your homes, your kivas, your praying sites, your main halls to be danced in. And back in 1907, which is, I believe, about 119 years ago, President Theodore Roosevelt, he established the protection of these sites, and declared it a national monument. President Theodore Roosevelt actually led a conservation legacy to protect natural and cultural resources. He established the need to remember our history not just through books, but through these sites that we can physically walk and see. And I know for a lot of different tribes, going back to these sites isn't necessarily something we all do because of cultural reasons. But for those that can walk them, I think it's important to visually see what has been to figure out a better future. And even like back in 1987, which isn't even 40 years ago, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, mostly common as UNESCO, declared Chaco Canyon as a World Heritage Site. It's funny to me that not only did a president of the United States see the need to protect Chaco Canyon, but a global organization whose mission is peace through education and science and history has both stated that Chaco Canyon needs to be protected. And in today's day and age, Chaco Canyon is being seen as a mining site. The Public Land Order number 7923 wants to take approximately 336,404 acres of public land surrounding Chaco Canyon to use for mining. And the way that they're describing this is a quote unquote buffer zone. So it's to be seen as it's not necessarily your protected site, but the outside ring. The buffer area is just as sacred as Chaco Canyon itself. When we pray and go to these sites in our shrines, it's not necessarily just the location that matters to us. It's the way we travel, the roads we take. To describe destroying the buffer zone is as if you're destroying my lawn of my house, the driveway that I go to, the bus stop my kids get off at. Those are safe, protected sites that families still live on. And that's something that's trying to be destroyed. And it's the last safe wall before getting into one of our sacred sites. And the mining project at hand that they want to implement is a 20-year, 10-mile mining project. That's a width of 10 miles for 20 years of causing harm to this land. It's astonishing to me that even something like this could even be brought up into question. And one thing you brought up was my public comment that I posted on my social media. And one of the things I said was when one sacred site is being put into question, all of our sites are being put into question and the protection rights. And I strongly believe protecting these sites, our sacred sites, is protecting your people, our history, and we can't expect a better future if we do not protect that at hand. What's happening to Chaco Canyon currently is a moment where us people, not only the ones affected by it directly, but all of our surrounding communities, our minority groups and tribal nations alike need to step up and recognize and demand a difference, demand change. On April 7th of 2026, a 7-day public comment was open. 7 days to establish why or why not should this be mined. 7 days of people trying to get their work schedule in line, school schedule in line, and put into words of the importance of our historic site, of our generational site, of our people. How can you do that in 7 days? And fortunately, I was able to see different conservation, legacy groups come together and go to tribe and ask for public comments. My posts, amongst others, were shared to express the need for this. And public comment is such a crazy phenomenon, in my opinion, because yes, you can ask the people of the state, but you can also ask people nationally, how does this affect you? And again, when one tribe is being affected, all indigenous people are being affected. So in those 7-day comments, what came from it is that the 7-day comment period turned to 150 days. 8 public meetings were held, and wide support from tribal governments and conservation groups were met. And someone that comes from a little pueblo, that was astonishing to see all these people come together for this moment, for this place. And even though debate is still continuing, the drilling project has been put on hold because of the uprising of all these groups, all these people coming together and expressing that this is not something we support, and going back on treaties, going back on protection rights is not something we support. So that was a fantastic thing to see people come together about Chaco Canyon.
That's incredible. Congratulations to you and everyone that spoke up. I know that it's not easy. I know that they make things certain hard with the scheduling and the places. That way, people have a difficulty to be able to go to places to speak up. So I want to say thank you to you, to everybody that spoke up. It's so important. And sometimes when we talk about mining, people have this idea of some dudes with a little helmet and a pickaxe going down a shaft and just, hitting some rocks. But that's kind of like an outdated idea of what mining is. Mining is really invasive, with
Mhm.
explosive, with pipes. And it really fractures the environment around. Not only the sacred places being destroyed, is like burning up cathedrals and libraries, but also you're leaving residue for people for thousands of years in the future. They're gonna be contaminated. So this
Mhm.
mining has to be taken in consideration of the environmental impact. And can you tell me more about what do you think that is, and what do you see in other places?
Yeah, so mining comes in many different forms, but essentially to make sense of it, to mine is, yes, you can either use explosives, but the most common practice that a lot of projects use today is using water resources. Now, this is essentially taking hundreds and thousands of water and pressurizing the water and bringing it back into this land. Now, when you do this with uranium ore, so to say, that water cannot be brought back to a clean use. It cannot be turned into gray water, which is tending to be used in farmland. It cannot be put into fresh water. So that's the water that comes out of your faucet. What ends up happening is they push this water deep, deep down into the groundwater system, and in the hopes that it never comes up. Coming from New Mexico, where we're the home of the nuke sites and nuke testing and uranium mining, and where all-time high percentage of our people have cancer due to these uranium mining, due to these impacts of environments. We can tell you that no mining is good mining. When it comes to these mining excavation sites, you are destroying land that can never be put back to the way it is. When you take water and pressurize it to pull out these ores and to distribute it, to transfer it, that water will never be same again. And we have yet to find the technology to bring the water back to its natural, clean self. When you take uranium mines and put them into factories, that destroys the air quality, air that we cannot get back to clean and breathable. How do we put our people first and tell them that we are taking care of them when we implement these systems that are designated to destroy them, to hurt them, to cause harm? By abusing these lands and creating mining, you are abusing the people that live there, that has generations there. In May of 2026, Chaco Canyon was also nominated at the All Pueblo Council of Governors meeting in New Mexico for the inclusion of the National Trust of Historic Preservation List, or TIPO, for the Americans' 11 most endangered historic places. That's where we're at today, is finding a way to preserve Chaco Canyon by making it one of the most endangered historic places. A place that was nominated under UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, a place that President Theodore Roosevelt established to protect, is now considered an endangered historic site.
Yes, you're very eloquent. So I want to say thank you for speaking on this really hard topic in a way that is very easy to understand, and really sharing about, at the end of the day, it's about the people that suffer, the people that are gonna be left with those scars and that pollution. And the sacred sites, it's part of the people through the culture, through the DNA, through the stories. So everything is interwoven. And when the people speak up and they say no more, listen to the people.
Mhm.
And I think one interesting way that people can participate and support is to learn more about this issue. And also, correct me if I'm wrong, but to visit Chaco Canyon in a very respectful manner to learn firsthand the beauty of this place. So, what would you tell people that would like to visit these sacred sites in the area that is open? Things that they need to have in consideration to this spot, but also just to visit sacred sites in general.
Yeah, I think that's a good topic to bring up because I know many people are hesitant when they hear, "Oh, this is a sacred site. Should I not? Should I do?" And in my opinion, education is a power that is given to all people. And when we enter these locations, these spots, all that I ask is to respect it as if it was your own home. And what I've always learned is when you enter a new spot, you touch the ground and you tell them who you are and the reasoning you're there. Tell Chaco Canyon, "Hi, my name is Sumaya. I come from these people, these are my family, and I'm just here to educate myself. I mean no disrespect in anything I do here. I'm just here to learn." We as Native people, we always tell our kids, we pray for our kids to go out into the world to educate yourself and then bring it back to your people. So in the same manner, we ask that of people, go out, educate yourself, figure out who these people are, because I think one thing that people tend to get wrong is these sites are of historic people, which it's not. I'm Acoma Pueblo, and you can come visit my home. up on the top of the mesa. We allow visitors. All that we ask is that you respect us because we are people of today. We have children of tomorrow. We just allow you to see our past, our rights and our wrongs, what we have done as mistakes and what we have done to continue our lineage. Modern day colonialism is mining and destroying these lands because out of disrespect of people not taking them into consideration. All that we ask is take consideration when you learn about us as people of today. Go home and take that into your day-to-day life. Be grateful for what you have. See these homes the way that people have lived, the way people live today, and be grateful for what you're able to accomplish, opportunities that are at your hands, and educate yourself. I know how easy it is to be naive and to hide from all the issues of today, especially the issues of today. It can be overwhelming. But understand that when you choose to not learn, to not educate yourself, you're choosing to be a part of the problem.
I think you said it really well. And I want to say, I believe you are an educator at heart. You have a passion to engage people, to be eloquent, to speak the truth. So I want to say thank you for sharing all of that with everybody listening to this right now. And I
Yes,
agree, the world is more connected than we ever been before. And you might be far away from Chaco Canyon, but this is still an important issue that we have to rally behind. So educate ourselves, see the people that are on the ground, they're speaking up, support them, help them, bring this issue to the people around you because it's a very vital question about our humanity, our planet, and what legacy we're gonna leave behind. And I want to say thank you
absolutely.
so much for being here. It's amazing. It's always
Thank
great to
you.
catch up with you. Before we go, is there anything else that you would like to say for people that they can do to help our planet?
Yeah. Oh, one thing I want to remind people is that Chaco Canyon is not the only sacred site being abused or neglected. There's ongoing struggles surrounding the telescope of Mauna Kea, the threats of Oak Flat, the development of Alaska LNG pipeline, the fishing wars impacting Washington. And these are only a few examples of treaties and promises that have not been honored as law. We all have rights as people, and even through these issues, it may sometimes feel like you have you don't know what to do. But I'm here to say, speak up. If there's something you don't agree with, speak up. Because at the end of the day, when you are a part of the reason why mining has come to a halt, why places are being protected, it's a more sincere feeling that you are protecting a generation before and after you. I speak up a lot about sacred sites and protecting indigenous rights on my Instagram platform. On the day to day, look at what you do. If there's something you don't agree with, make a change, strive for better.
There you go, people. Make a change, speak up, and make the world a better place, not only for the humans, but the plants, the animals, the wind, the water, so that way we can leave it a little bit better than we found it. Thank you so much, Sumaya, for being on the podcast.
Thank you,
I
Frank.
really appreciate it. Of course, it has been great connecting with you again. And I'll leave your Instagram on the show description so people can follow you and support you. And thank you again. Agoje. Thank you so much, Sumaya, for being on the podcast. I am so happy to say that Chaco's drilling is on hold, but it's not over. And it's not only happening there. Oak Flat, Mauna Kea, the Florida Everglades, the same destruction forces are everywhere. So let's learn about it. Let's follow Sumaya. Her Instagram is going to be on the show notes. And if you believe sacred lands is worth protecting, share this with a friend. When one sacred site is in question, all of them are. So let's speak up. Aguje.